Estate and letting agents are full of millennials. How do we motivate them? Talk to me.
The millennial question. I knew that was going to come at some point. At some point. Let me ask you a question, Chris. How do I motivate you?
Me, you find out what interests me, what floats my boat, what motivates me as a person, and then your actions as my boss should reflect that.
Okay, so what do you think I need to do for a millennial?
Do the same.
Exactly. Don't treat them the same as I treat someone that's 20 years older, right? And let's take the word millennial out of it. Let's talk about individuals, because the best way to motivate any individual is to understand that individual. What excites them? What fires them up? Why do they want to do the job they do? What's their aspirations for the future? What's the lifestyle they're trying to have? What do they go to work for? What's their passion? Like, what is it about them?
Is it the baby boomers, the 15, 60-year-old bosses' responsibility then to ask their millennials what motivates them then?
So for me, I think anyone that's a leader, I've got this big thing about trying to change what CEO stands for. In fact, it's like, it's on the back of all my business cards.
There you go.
It's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. Most people, when you say CEO, they think of a chief executive officer. I think of constantly empowering others. Because for me, the role of any great leader is to actually get the best out of their people.
Yes, I agree.
Okay? And empower, I would spell differently given the choice, but it wouldn't spell CEO, which is why I haven't. Because I think empower should be in power. As in, your real job, your real role is to get people in power as themselves. So to identify that person's strengths, their motivations, their why, their all of the positive attributes of them, and play to those strengths. Don't take a square peg and try and force it into a round hole, because it will never work. Find the round peg and put it in the round hole. And if you've got a bunch of round pegs or square pegs and the wrong holes, either make the holes right for the people or find the people that fit the holes you've got. Don't try and force people into something that's not them.
What would you say to a millennial watching this who's got a boss who's not even prepared to ask them those questions?
So if I was sitting in a business and my boss has no interest in me, I ain't going to stay. Long term, I'm not going to stay. I might stay for a while because it might serve a purpose. I might need the paycheck. But you can guarantee someone that doesn't feel fulfilled in what they do is always going to have an eye open on the horizon for what's next. 100%, full stop, it's going to happen.
Is there anything they can do to try and make the boss ask them questions?
I think there is. I think, when it comes to kind of delegation, motivation, management, all that kind of stuff, in any organisation, it goes in both directions. You manage your boss as much as your boss manages you. Now, I actually don't like the term boss, right? We've used it in a few of these videos, but I don't like that word, because to me, a boss is a bit like a bully in a school playground.
Okay.
Because the boss is when I hear the word boss, I think of control.
What word do you like?
Leader. Because a leader sets an example. Whereas a boss, it's about, I'm going to tell you what to do. Now, I know that's not always the case, but if I want to simplify the terminology, if I talk to people and they describe themselves as wanting to be the boss, they normally want to control other people. If I talk to people and they talk about they want to be a great leader, they're normally about actually getting the best from other people and helping those people to become the best version of themselves, which is a really, really different thing. And I think if you are in an organisation where it doesn't recognise your, bring it to the table, show what you can do, right? Having managed millennials, one of the challenges I find with that age demographic is this kind of expectation of, you should pay me more and then I'll do more. There's almost like
chicken and the egg.
Yeah, exactly, and it's the wrong way round, right? The culture I grew up in the work. No, but the culture I grew up in the workplace was very much, you prove what you're capable of, you'll be rewarded for it later. It's like delayed consequences. Okay. And I've actually got that view around the term passive income. When people talk about passive income, it's not. It's delayed consequences. You're getting money for something you did in the past, right? And I think there's a lot of things in life where we get those delayed consequences. I think we've got a bit of a and this isn't meant as a criticism of millennials. It might sound like it is, but it's not meant as one. I think we've got a bit of an entitlement culture, but I don't think it's only millennials that have got it. I think there are people in their 50s, 60s, 40s, 30s. You know, I think it's there at all different age levels in terms of what we expect we're supposed to get or how we expect we're supposed to be treated, and we feel entitled to that stuff rather than actually being prepared to go out and make it happen for ourselves.
Should be able to earn it, don't you?
Exactly, yeah.
That's the way I was brought up.
And, you know, again, little like catchphrasey line of mine is I believe that if you want enlightenment, you've got to get rid of entitlement. Like, entitlement is the barrier to enlightenment. And when I say enlightenment, it's about understanding yourself at the deepest level. You know, lots of people talk about, how do I level up in life? How do I level up? How do I level up? I can tell you from my own personal experience and a whole bunch of people I've worked with, the quickest way to level up is to level in. It's like, go deeper on yourself, get to know who you are, what makes you tick, how to play to your strength and how to plug your weaknesses. You know they're there, acknowledge them and go, how can I deal with that? And it might be some kind of process, might be some software, it might be another human being. It doesn't matter what it is, but the more honest you can be with yourself about everything that's happening for you, the quicker you can accelerate your results. And the deeper you're prepared to go on yourself, the more you're going to know yourself. You know, a lot of people reach a kind of superficial level and go, like, there's a box I don't want to open. And I respect that and I get it, especially depending on things that may or may not have happened in your past, right? But if you open that box and you deal with what's inside it, you open up a whole new world. You know, and I think if you're sitting there, and I know this has gone on a bit of a tangent from where the video started, but I think if you're sitting there in an organisation, regardless of what your age is, and you're going, why am I not being appreciated? Start by looking in the mirror. Like, what's your part in it? How can you take responsibility for that? And how can you show up a different way? And if you show up a different way, potentially the people around you will show up a different way. They might not. And if you can consciously go, I've tried everything I can to make this work to the best of my ability and it still doesn't work, that's a reasonable time to say, okay, now I think I'm going to move on. But you can do it with a clear conscience that says you've tried everything you can think of to show up at your best. If what you do is the opposite and you go, oh, this ain't working, I'm just going to switch off and I'm going to hang around and get the paycheck for as long as I can, who you got to blame?
Yourself.